Aloha and welcome to your Lemurian Tribe live session. Okay, wonderful that you're all here. I'm so grateful we're here. My name is Ariya Lorenz, as you all know, and just grateful. I'm grateful. We're just coming out of the lounge. I saw a few of you in there. I'll see you later after the session again. Oh, there's a heart coming up. Thank you so much. Greetings. I'm sending my hearts out to you all. Feel my love. Ooh. Oh, so grateful. Yes, this is the Lemurian tribe where your love mission for the planet gets recharged, where you recharge your batteries for whatever your mission is, what you bring to the planet. Yes? So this is how it was conceptualized. And I see you all here. I see some names here. Beautiful. I see the pictures. I'm looking at you and you mean something to me. You're my family. I'm your family. We're family here. This is the Lemurian tribe. And the Lemurian tribe is like the dolphins. Thank you for your hearts and your thumbs up. Yes, getting some agreement here. The Lemurian tribe is like a family, like the dolphins live together, like in a pod. And we actually have just started our buddy system where we are going to connect with each other just like the dolphins do. And we're going to take some ways of how dolphins communicate with each other and interact. Thank you, all the hearts, I see you. And we're going to take that and we're going to implement that into our lives and into the ways of how we connect as our buddies and with our buddies. Yeah. Now, a buddy is really an important part if you want to be accountable and if you want to be, you know, have somebody that has your back and helps you to overcome procrastination or self-doubt. Yeah, sometimes helps you through some fears. And don't we have all of that? Yeah, don't we have all self-doubts, fears coming up? Yes, big time. Especially if you have a big mission in life, you're gonna have big fears, right? But you also have big support. Yeah, I see that every time that there's huge support out there. And this is what today is about. Today, we're going to talk about the support. There'll be support stories and stories of how these tools that we've been teaching throughout these different workshops, we call them now, each session, the tools that we've been teaching, how they actually help you in your life and how they create better results. Yeah, because if they didn't create better results, why would we do them? And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you are implementing the metaphysical tools in your life. Which metaphysical tool is important to you or most important? Which ones are the ones you're using? And what has happened since you've been using them? And we're specifically talking about the tools that are coming through in the course, Living Your Highest and Best. And that is what I call the basic course for practical spirituality. Those are the basic tools. Each of my clients, I'll recommend that course to. And also, if you're a master student and you've done the master program with me or you're currently enrolled in it, then you start with that as well. Have that as your foundation. And the foundation is profound. So first, before I'm starting with the story, I would love to hear who has taken the Living Your Highest and Best course. I'm going to do a poll here. So please say yes if you did and no if you didn't. Okay, so we have 57% who took the course and 43 who didn't. Now, okay, it's changing. People are putting more in here. 67 took the course, 33% didn't. Okay, this is what we have right now. So basically, a third didn't and 2/3 did. Here, of the people who are live, of course, we're more people. So if you're listening to the recording, please let me know. Send me a quick text on WhatsApp or an email and tell me if you've done the course. And if you haven't, I'm going to give you a special today. Normally the members discount is 10 or 20%, 15, I think, percent of all the courses. But for today and in the next week, we're going to make it half. So you're just going to get half price for that. So because I really want to encourage you to get in. It's going to be really inexpensive that way. I think it comes down to $120 for the whole course. Yeah. So please go ahead and sign up. And here's why. These results are so powerful that it changes your life. So I was living in Germany, and I had created the protection shield, which is one part of the course, around my belongings, and in particular, I had a little wood stack for my wood firing. Today is story time. Dear Charlie put on a fire, and I out in a woodshed with other people's wood. So we had them all stored because I was living in a city. And since I love wood fire, I made sure I have a wood stove and I have wood. So all my wood was stacked there. And believe it or not, this wood shack burned down. I don't know what happened, but one morning I'm getting a call and I'm like, okay, just letting you know the wood shack just burned down. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go through the whole ordeal again. At the time, we were making the wood ourselves. We would go in the forest and we would, the boys would cut down the trees and the girls would, make them in little pieces. It was hard work. And so I'm thinking I'm going all the way through that again. Walking to the shed, yep, somebody knows what I'm doing. Walking to the shed, and you wouldn't believe it. Everything was burned down but my stack of wood. My stack of wood was untouched. Around it, all the wood was burned. The building was burned. My wood wasn't. Now, how can that be explained? Yeah, everybody would tell you this is impossible. Well, it's not impossible. Nothing is impossible with the metaphysical tools. Nothing is impossible. And that's why we're doing this. And that's why we're calling it practical spirituality too, because practical means that it actually has a meaning for you in your life, that you can apply it. And it helps you in your life, yeah? And so another story is, another burning story, you probably know this story, how the temple burned down from the lava. We got a lava river all the way to Polestar, which is our spiritual community that we lived in. And most of you probably know this story because it was so amazing. And because here we had some different elements. We had also fire, and we also had gravity, because we had the volcano come at Polestar, and the volcano stopped in front of Polestar, the lava stopped in front of Polestar, kind of separated and went around it. So the whole community was untouched while everything else was completely covered. And, these things are nature forces, and they're very, very powerful. Now, when it comes to Polestar, that was not only the protection shield, it was also and foremost very powerful protection from the master, Yogananda, and the other masters that Polestar was dedicated to. So you can create a protection shield, which is a metaphysical tool, and it helps you. And it also did help me there at Polestar when the temple ended up burning down. I should tell you the whole story. It also helped me there because some other parts of my belongings got saved. But you can use the protection shield for your little things. And if you ask for the higher beings to help you as well, then you even have support for situations like a lava flow. Yeah, something that's just so powerful that no man force and even the force itself, which we're using in the metaphysical tools, we're using the energetic force that would normally even be overcome by something like a lava flow, they would still be revered, because you have all of it together. You have the metaphysical tools and you have the masters behind it. And that's also part of the Living Your Highest and Best course. It's the 3rd chapters, How do I call for support from above? Yeah. So support from above, very powerful. Protection shield, very powerful. That's the first chapter, protection shield. Now, the whole story, you want to hear the whole story? Give me a thumbs up. And if not, we'll just continue. Okay, okay, there are lots of thumbs. Okay, I guess we want to, yes, okay, we'll do the story. So we were living at Polestar, spiritual community in Hawaii, beautiful people, about 26 people living there together. And the lava came. We were prepared that the lava would come. And so I'm going up to the higher self and to Pele, which is the goddess of the volcano, and asked her, do I need to do something? Do I need to prepare? Are my belongings in danger? What do you want me to do? And she said, no, don't need to do anything. It's going to be fine. So here, what did I think? What would you think if you hear that? You don't need to do anything. It's going to be fine. I thought there's going to be no lava flow. Right? Makes sense to me. And that'll happen to you very often. You make sense of these messages from the higher realms in your mind and then come true in a total different way. And this is what that was. Okay, I thought there's no lava flow. Well, then I asked what I always do, when is the right time to go on a vacation to California to see Charlie? And I got a date, which was May 3rd. So I booked the ticket for that. I did not think those two things were related. And then we booked the ticket for May 3rd, and all around us, we had earthquakes every hour. Sometimes I think over 200 a day. So that like every few minutes. But there were earthquakes all the time. The earth was shaking and people were starting to be worried, right? And then around us, that was now around April 25th or so, the asphalt, the street would break open. There were cracks happening in the street, not far from us, so maybe about half a kilometer, so that's about a third of a mile away. Right at the entrance of our property, of the driveway to Polestar, the lava, what is it called? The asphalt, the street broke open, yeah? So that was a bit of a concern. And then people started end up driving there every day, several times, to see if the crack had gotten bigger, what we needed to do. Now, I wasn't concerned because I got the message it's going to be fine. And I'm thinking we're going to be totally spared from the lava. And it was a little odd that there were cracks in the road. I was a little, huh? And then on May 3rd, Nayade and I embarked onto the airplane to California with our suitcase, one little small suitcase. And we left everything, opened everything in the house, and didn't prepare, like we said, like we got the message not to. And as we're going onto the stairs to the airplane, the alarm on the phone rings, you know, emergency, emergency. There is a 50-foot lava fountain spewing out of the street, out of this crack in the street in your neighborhood. And we're like, wow. The neighborhood was a little bit further away, a few miles away, 5 miles away, 3 miles probably only. So close was our neighborhood. And the lava was spewing out. And the next moment, I'm getting a call from my friend with who I had the horse, I had my horse there at the horse pasture. And she says, we're evacuating the horses. The lava is coming directly to the horses. Now, the horse is the street from Polestar. That is very close. So the lava was already coming towards the horses. They're evacuating. I'm like, I'm embarking on a plane, or what is it, boarding. I'm boarding a plane. What do I do? She's like, I got you. Never mind. I'll get your horse out. It's fine. Thank you, God. Thank you, Sarah, if you hear this. She got the horse out. I'm ever grateful for her. And we land in California realizing the lava is coming. And we're just going to stay for however long we need to. Now, can you get that date? That we're actually flying out on the date? Yeah, that's divine guidance. that's what happens, you know, when you're in tune with divine guidance. You're not even asking specifics. You're just asking about the situation. You're just asking about your vacation. If you're in tune, everything aligns, right? And that's what's happening for us. And I want to hear the stories that you had. You know, how are you aligned? How do the stories happen for you? And so please prepare. Put up a hand as I'm talking here on the side if you have a story to share, and just come on stage and share it. And you may turn on your video so we can see you, or you could leave it off. That's up to you. But just give me signs already so I don't have any waiting time here, and raise your hand for later. Yeah? Okay. So this is what happened. And you can only raise a hand if you're on a computer. If you're in the chat, then we'll see it in the chat. And Brandy, if you don't mind, you could come on with it. If there's an important question, then just let me know. Raise your hand and let me know. And I'm sure Brandy has some stories to share also. Oops, I'm falling back. Okay. So do you want to hear more? We're in California, and the lava is coming towards Polestar. You already know the lava went to the side. Thanks for your signs. The lava went around Polestar. Now Polestar, the people who were there, they're seeing a volcano erupting on the left side of the property. That was fissure 8. Huge eruptions all day. It sounded like cannon bombs. And at night you see this glow, really tall. And you see a lava river going a little bit further away. It wasn't in front of the property yet because otherwise they could not have evacuated. But you see a lava river close by coming to you from the other end. Can you imagine that situation? Well, it goes down. They had to evacuate. You know, the lava comes down this huge lava river, about, I think, 100 feet wide, is going now by Polestar, taking all the neighborhood, everything. Nobody can enter anymore for over a year. Now, during this year, you know, we're starting to think what's going to happen, and we realize Polestar has to pay bills. They have to pay the mortgage, which was high. They were, and you know, still paying off the property, and no income because no people were living there, no people were coming for vacation. So eventually we prayed again to the masters, and we said, now we would actually wish the lava had taken Polestar because we don't know how to deal with this. Can you do something? Can you do something? A few days later, a helicopter flies over Polestar, and the same time that that helicopter flies over, that person in the helicopter sends the images to somebody who knows Polestar, who sends the images to the people at Polestar. And we saw at the moment where the house was burning. Can you imagine that? So the house started to burn, but not only that, we saw it, now we had footage. The footage was really important for the insurance. And because the main house burned down, the insurance paid. Now the main house burned down and the temple burned down next to the main house, which made the temple, which was on stilts, collapse. And we think it collapsed towards the house and let the house burn. But the propane tank that was right there next to it, which would have been causing a huge explosion, didn't explode. It was safe. And Naya, they laughed because the whole trash house got burned, which he didn't like. But other beautiful things close by didn't. So there was a very selective burn happening, yeah? And what my house, where we lived in, was a little bit to the side, untouched, together with one more house. The other houses all got damaged. Some got rain damage, some got blown around from the wind. You know, the conditions were like on the moon. They were really intense for a while, intense heat, intense sulfur. The plants all died. It was a very intense situation. And fire everywhere. Now, 1 year later, it's 1 year later, go with me. We're walking We're flying to Hawaii from California. We're walking onto the lava and we're cracking over the lava. This whole lava river was still hot, steam coming out, but some areas had cooled down so you could walk on them. They were like thin glass, golden, shimmering glass, and you like crunch, crunch, crunch. You don't know when you fall in. But we went with guidance. We went with guidance. We walked over, and what did we see? We saw the temple all in ashes, the big house in ashes. It was just one big pile of rubbish. And Charlie said, wait, your singing bowls are going to be fine. I had my singing bowls in the temple, 7 crystal singing bowls. And because I thought I had lost them, my mom, my mother-in-law, gave me 1 singing bowl that she had. So I had that in California, which was tuned to A, they were all tuned to the chakras. 7 was the one that was tuned to the tone A. So we're coming there, and I'm like, never will they have survived. I didn't even believe it. We're going there, and what do you see? Everything was broken, gone, except for 1 Kuan Yin statue, like this one over there, similar. And 6 of my singing bowls survived. They're completely fine. They're under stuff, between stuff. Even the crystals had all melted. It was so hot that the crystal cathedrals, if you touch them, they turned into sand. My singing bowls, they're made out of crystal. They were fine. They even toned, you know. They're dirty. I'll show them to you. You know, the dirt all got melted into the outside of the bowl, but they were fine. Except for the one other one, tuned to the tone A. That one is broken because I had it already. That's what you get when you believe in these tools and when you use them. So what tools did I use? I used the violet flame for eliminating negativity. I used the protection shield, and I asked the angels and the higher realms for support. Yeah? So do you have a story to share where, since you're using the violet flame, your life has changed? Or because you did a protection shield, you got out of an accident or out of an accident? Think about it. Let me know. Raise your hand if you have a story to share. I'm not seeing a hand. I can't believe you guys don't have any stories to share. You're letting me believe back into our
I'm going to keep the video off because I think that's affecting the audio. I use protection every day, both the energetic protection and the grounding. I use Archangel Michael to keep me protected. And I also do an additional shield to allow in the Lemurian gold, but protect me from allergies and things like that. We were traveling with our camper. It's a pull behind the car, pull behind the truck. And we were headed up north. It just started snow flurrying. And the truck slipped, and the camper, which was 28 feet attached to the back, flipped over. We were at the top of a mountain. I believe it's because of the protection. Our truck bumper landed up against the guardrail. If it had gone through the guardrail, it would have been several 100-foot drop. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm so grateful and shocked. Wow, I'm so glad you had the protection shield and Archangel Michael. That is what helped you. That's what protected you. So grateful. Wow.
I'm convinced. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Marianne. See, doesn't that make you feel good if you hear some other people share their stories and what happens? Oh, thank you. So I'll get you back. Are you done sharing, sweetheart?
Yeah.
Yeah. You showing up? Here's Dave. You can turn on the video or leave it off. Up to you, Dave.
Aloha,
There, we can see.
everybody.
Oh, he's in Hawaiian style.
I wasn't going to tell my story, but after that one, I said okay, because I thought mine was too scary also. So just to accordion some context, Ariya, it's been over a year since I first met you and did Living Your Highest and Best. So 1 year, and I had moved to a new town, got a new car, have a new puppy, live in a new house, made an album, became a healing app sound designer. Yesterday I went to work and there was a Tibetan holy woman making dumplings and chanting on our music. I said, this is just, I'm not a results-based person, but I mean, it's out of control. So I don't dwell in those things, but when we tell a story and look back, I can't help but say, this is so powerful. And every time we go on our dives, sometimes I shake. I've seen or communicated with relatives from the past, all kinds of things. But it's funny, somehow that stuff isn't what I think is important. There's something else about us allowing more divinity in for humanity. And that seems to be, to me, the one thing that matters the most. So here's my story. I thought it was too scary. We were driving, and I do my protection and I pray in the mornings. And I had to hit my brakes. And a 30-pound piece of metal equipment flew through the car, completely broke the glass, and smashed my lovely bearded dragon's tank. Smashed right through it. And we looked, and he was completely unharmed in the one part of the tank, just looking at us like nothing was wrong. We were like terrified, but he was completely fine. I said, there's no way, like, this is so crazy. I try not to think of why it happened. I didn't want anything. I don't know what I would have done if the little guy had gotten hurt. But we were clearly, that seemed like such a clear protection. So I wanted to share that because it seemed like, yeah.
That is so special. Oh, thank you, Dave. I know how much you love him, and we love him already so much, Nayade and I. And oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Isn't this amazing to hear?
And this is baby Jerry.
Oh, you got your puppy. He didn't show up last time because he got his puppy right when we had our Lemurian tribe. Now you got him, huh? Oh, welcome to the tribe.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for sharing. And Dave, what you said, it's really about the world. It's not so much about these results. It's really about what we do for the world. I totally agree. And yet it's so uplifting and juicy if you hear these results, because sometimes we forget and we think, oh, it doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't matter. And this is the session where we remind ourselves it matters big time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Loving the buddy system too.
Yay. We're going to embark into the next level after today. You guys are going to be surprised. There's going to be certification possibilities, and I'll share later. Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Ooh, so special. Thank you for sharing. That makes a big difference. Now, Chris is sharing. She's probably on a mobile device. She's sharing, I recently called for my protection to be in place and Ganesha to remove obstacles. I drive out, waited for a green light, then moved forward. A car flew through a red light in front of me. Split-second timing in the protection. So much gratitude. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. And those stories I hear hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I have not met anybody yet who had a protection shield in the car and who got into an accident, including myself. I got in an accident once and I had forgotten the protection shield. I'm like, is that a sign? Are they trying to tell me something? So it's very, very powerful. Okay, pretty awesome. I love it. Oh, thank you so much. Well, do you want to hear another story? So, here we go. Some people ask, how did you actually come to doing your healings? And I always share a different story, which is when my actual healing started, is when my mom died. And I started bringing these healing abilities in. And of course, I had connection to the divine and to the divine healing realm all my life because I grew up that way, rightfully to my mom. But one story that I haven't shared with anybody revolves around the dolphins. And when I thought of it this morning in meditation, I meditated about our tribe and this story came in like, wow, I haven't even remembered that, to share that. So how that happened is, you got to know, I had a really wonderful childhood friend. Her name is Birgit. And we would always go on vacations together at some point. We had discovered we loved going on vacations together, and we made time once a year to do that. So that was during that phase. And the way we went into vacation is, she was just awesome. She said, where should we go? And I always wanted to go somewhere where there are dolphins and where there's an ocean. Everything else was up to her. She could go wherever we want to go, but it had to be where we can swim or see dolphins. Swim and see dolphins. Okay. Now, for some reason, we decided we're going to Sri Lanka. And we went to Sri Lanka. And as we arrived in Sri Lanka, we look at the map and we feel into where we need to go. And that was often, I think it was my role. I don't remember exactly, but I know that I did it. And she might have done it too, and we might have done it together. So anyway, I'm looking at this map and I'm feeling into where we need to go. And I feel we need to go into this mountain there, somewhere on that map. We didn't read any travel journal or something like that. We just went where it takes. But we know it, and that's why we're going. And so we're excited to invest in place. And on these travels, from the first day on, there's usually one miracle after the next. Because when we wish with the angels, we always say this or better. So when we fly, we get an upgrade to first class, or we get, we can skip the queue, or we meet somebody really special. And I know you've had that. And that's why you're a light worker, because you are tuned into the miracles of this world. Yeah. And so in this case, we are tuned into that. We arrive there at some very busy bus station. And the first thing we always did is sit down, meditate, find out where to go next. So now we're at the bus station meditating where to go next. And it tells us we need to go find a monastery. A monastery? We ask all the locals, nobody knows. There's no monastery. We're like, well, we got there as a monastery, so let's just start walking. And so we got the message in which direction we should walk, and we just started walking. And eventually, after like an hour and a half, I'm thinking, maybe I got the message wrong, maybe I have it a little bit different. Now, Birgit was very faithful. She would just go with me. Whatever I would get, we would just go. She wouldn't say, oh, I'm sure you got it wrong. There's no monastery. She's like, it's gonna show up. And this is what we're here to be for each other. We're going to be, especially in the body system, the person who, when you doubt, you have a person that helps you say, no, it's gonna work out. I was thinking, I probably got it wrong. How often do you feel that you got it wrong? All the time. If you're a healer, if you're a light worker, we're working in the invisible realm. And the mind constantly tells us you're wrong. It's wrong, right? So it's really good if you have somebody who tells you, you know, it's going to come out. It's going to work out. Well, surely enough, we walk a little bit further and there is this beautiful, very modest, not even really visible monastery of Christian nuns. We thought we were going to meet Buddhists or Hindus. Well, they were Christian nuns, and we got to stay there. That is where we stayed, and it was beautiful. And on that same trip, we went and wanted to see the dolphins, right? And we're waking up in the morning and we went to the fisherman. We said, we want to see dolphins. Well, there are no dolphins in Sri Lanka. You cannot see the dolphins here. Well, we meditated before we went on that trip and we got the message, there's dolphins in Sri Lanka. So if you're willing to take us out, we'll find the dolphins. The fisherman says, I'm willing to take you out. If you pay for it, that's fine. I'm glad there's somebody who pays me a bunch of money so I can take them out for whatever they want. So they take us out, but we had to find the right fisherman who, in a way, was aligned with our vision, right? Because we need this alignment, especially if we're trying to manifest something that apparently doesn't really exist there. That's not apparent, yeah? So we looked at all these fishermen there that all wanted to take us, and we chose the one that felt most aligned to our cause. So now that relates to your friends. That relates to people you hang out with. So if you have something important to do, if you have a big mission, you need to find the people that are aligned with your mission, right? And again, here is where the Lemurian tribe comes in. This is why I want you to come live, because when you're live, or even when you're listening to the recording, you're diving in, no matter what the teaching is, whether it's new or old, whether you know it or don't, you're diving into that vibration of alignment with your highest purpose, yeah? And that amplifies you. So now we took this fisherman and his friend. We also didn't know why, but it felt right. And we went with them. And the first thing they do is they go to this big mountain thing that was coming out of the water in the middle of the ocean, like not in the middle of the ocean, but close by to the shore, but surrounded by water. And they put their boat down and start praying. And they prayed to their deity there. Like, we are in the right boat for sure. So we just prayed to our deity, you know, the divine that's everywhere in all. And we called in the dolphins one more time and said, dolphins, please come. We went out for 2 hours, no dolphins, no dolphins, nothing. We came back and went on shore, and now Birgit and I were like, okay, we got to find out what happened. Now, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? We were on guidance, we had the right fishermen. Why did the dolphins not show up? Give me some insights, give me some ideas. What do you think? You can share it on stage or share it in the chat. We weren't ready for that experience. That's a possibility, is RT saying, yeah. We definitely were not energetically ready for the experience, and here's why. Because Birgit and I had this ego fight going on. The fishermen who said there weren't dolphins caused resistance. Yes, is what Jody's saying. Yeah, that's, resistance was there. Resistance was there and we weren't ready. So you both got it right, because these are the energies that work against your manifestation. And they could be within us or within the fisherman or within the situation, right? In this case, it was actually within us. We sat down and we realized we had this whole fight going on about getting up on time and who's right and who's better. We weren't really aware of it, but we weren't really a team, Birgit and I, when we went onto the boat. And we later realized, gosh, that's what we had going on. We had this whole thing, which happened very often. If you are on the spiritual path, there's a big trap that happens easily, and that is, who is better? Who meditates more, who gets the messages right, who knows his stuff better, whatever, you know. And just know it's another form of the ego taking on its role that it normally has to compare you against somebody for the better or worse. And you just can't jump on it. You cannot believe it, because this is not about who's better. This is about showing up, being willing, being ready, and being there. That's already 100%. Once you're willing, you got 100%. How it looks like doesn't matter. Can't get caught in that. Yeah. Chris is saying they were there. They didn't show themselves for some reason. And that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. Because for those reasons, we had resistance created in ourselves because we needed to be better than our ego. That's a lower vibration. Yeah, we had the right fishermen. The fishermen prayed with us, but we couldn't meet up in that high level where the dolphins show up. And the dolphins don't show up for these other fishermen because they are not aligned with that high vibration. So we did the work. We did exactly what we do in the Living Your Highest and Best. We did chapter 1, 2, 3, done, full on, Birgit and I, all day long. We really worked it. And we came to a total different feeling. And the next day, we took the boat again. We went out, they prayed again. And not only did a dolphin show up or two, the fishermen have never seen this yet, to that day. Hundreds of dolphins, and I've never seen it again afterwards in my life. Hundreds of dolphins showed up. Hundreds. The whole ocean was full of dolphins. Everywhere dolphins. We're like, oh my God. And they were talking to us. They were saying, come in. I had forgotten the goggles, everything that I had the day before, I didn't have. I'm just jumping in. Birgit says, jump in. She didn't want to be close with the dolphins. She wanted to be outside. So I'm in with the dolphins now. She's telling me, they're coming underneath you. They're right there. I'm feeling them. I'm in them. Birgit is showing me and helping me see them. And she's getting her messages from above. We're full of them. Feel the dolphins with me as you hear the story, just to feel them. We're in Sri Lanka. Now, not only the dolphins. Here's the dolphins. The dolphins is like this huge, hundreds of dolphins. So at least 100 meters. So that's 300 yards wide, full of dolphins. And then on the outside, the whales showed up. And also, I've never ever seen that again. I didn't even know how special that was at the time. Now I do. Lived in Hawaii since 16 years, never ever seen it again. And there's dolphins and whales here all the time. The whales came from that side. They started breaching. Many whales, many, like 4 or 5. You know, they normally show up in couples or thirds or triples. So here they're jumping and jumping and jumping, and they make this whole half circle around us, and they continue to breach. They continue to breach around us. It was a whole celebration, a spectacle. And in that time of that spectacle, we received the message. We received our calling in life. You got to bring love and light to the planet. You need to bring it. It's not about just being it. It's about sharing it, bringing it. That's how that story was. And that's how everything shifted from the tools we used in living your highest and best. And it got us to receiving our message for what I'm doing right now with you and what I've been doing ever since. Yeah? Sharing the light. So this is how powerful this is. Share with me where you feel you received some insights about your mission and how that came about. Davina is saying, such a beautiful story, Ariya. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, please share how you got your mission. Davina, do you want to share how your mission came through? Or anybody else, please raise your hand. We have a few more minutes to share. I see hearts coming up. I see responses. So think of little stories too. Think of what happened with your kids, you know, how you could shift from maybe being angry to being loving with the violet flame. That happens often with the violet flame, you know, or how you felt more safe with the protection shield, or that how it was easier to stay away from gossip, you know, things like that, practical things. Pia saying, I love, love, love your story. That's fun. I'm great to hear that. Davina is saying, yes, my mission came through from our master healing sessions, being able to tune directly to source and be able to bring the light and share ways we can bring more light into our life and for our children. Yeah, so that was through the master sessions where we connected deeply to the higher self. And she felt her mission was being there for parents and kids. And you've seen Sandy shared some of her beautiful video on the WhatsApp group. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, come on in. It's worth it. Marianne is saying, I have a story about how I knew I was time to pursue my calling. Yes, please share. Raise your hand and I can get you on stage. Davina, I don't think she can go on stage because her kids are sleeping and it's nighttime in Qatar. So, but we're sending you love, Davina. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else wants to share? Please, this is your time. Please, this is your time. We're not going to do this often. Just be bold, show up. He told us last time in the last session, he said, you know, show up, become visible. This is your tribe. This is your tribe. Become visible and dare to tell a small story. You're going to help me because I feel so lonely here sharing stories. Here's Marianne.
Okay, can you hear me?
Thank you. Raised hand. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
So I am really going bold here because I have not shared this story with more than 2 people and they were family members.
Oh, thank you so much for daring.
Ariya and a few of you know this, that my son was killed in a car crash in 2012. And it pretty much destroyed me. I stopped my corporate job and really couldn't do much of anything. When I was at his funeral, basically, I gave a eulogy for him and I sat down and I noticed there's a ring that I wear. It's a sapphire. It was my engagement ring. It had before it had a crack in it. I sat and I fingered the break in the stone. There was almost an arc of the stone that had broken off. And I sat there and I played with it with my finger. When I got home, I took the ring off and I sat it on the bedroom vanity and left it there and did the work to heal, decided I had to get up off the floor, started to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life because I couldn't stay there. And it was literally 3 years later when I said, all right, I'm going to replace the stone in the ring. And I took it to a jeweler, and the jeweler used the loop and stared at the ring and took it to the microscope and then took it to the back. And I still wear this ring today and said, why do you want to replace the stone? There is nothing wrong with it. That was my sign that I had healed, and now it was time for me to take on more.
That is so powerful and so full of grace. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and how dear to be receiving that story and that truth. It's not a story, it's a miracle. You know, that's a real miracle. And it's your son's doing from the other side, energetically, and you matching that vibration by showing up with your gift, what you have for the world, which is a big gift, and the world needs you. You know that, I know it, and we all feel it. So grateful that you shared that. Thank you,
Thank you.
Marianne. Oh, I'm so grateful. How important to be seen that way, to be held with that. You have a whole group of friends that are holding that in the highest regards, with utter love. Thank you. All people are holding space. I can see the hearts. Thank you so much. Wow. Wow, that's an amazing story. Whew. So here, thank you, Jen, for raising your hand, and Terry, and Davina. Share with us. Oops, there's Terry. Wow, thank you for your inspiration. It does help when people dare to share. It helps you and it helps everyone else.
Can you hear me?
Hey, what do you heard?
Oh,
Thank you.
this is on one of our segments. You had Susan come on. She was asking a question about missing the program, and I typed in the answer. You asked if anyone can hear her. You couldn't hear her. Type in what she's asking, so I did. And then she came on, her picture showed up, and she said that angels spoke through her, and you still couldn't hear her. So I told her to have them speak, you know, and they had a beautiful message, and I felt like that message was for me. And it ended up that she did most of the talking, and you didn't even. The angels were playing. They said they were playing. She said they were playing with the situation. Anyway, that was such a heart, a blessing that I got a message through that from the angels. That was just one little. I have a lot of things I could tell you, but can you hear me? Are you hearing me? Okay. When I was a teenager, I went to Wyoming. I was living with somebody, but the situation wasn't compatible. So I went off on my own with his sister to the Jackson Lake Lodge to do work. And that was the first time I was by myself, away from my family, you know, and that same thing with the other, my friend. Anyway, while there, one night, I was reading this, we went to the bookstore, and I got a really lovely book, and it was talking about love, the love of the Creator. And she was reading anyway, I want to condense this story. We turned off the lights. We were in a duplex where we were working, but we were staying there. Before all the other workers came, we were the first ones to arrive. And this big illuminated face showed up in the room. And I kept blinking, and it looked like the face of Jesus with a beard like that, you know. And there was no verbal message or anything, just the sight. And then when the face disappeared, I said, "Kathy, did you see that?" And she said, "I saw the light, but I was too afraid to open my eyes." So she did not see that. But after that happened, the book on the bookshelf, the woman that was there before us had a book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And I read that, and I knew it had some kind of a meaning for me, but I didn't know what. And then I talked to my mother, and she said, I want you to talk to my friend that I just met. And he said that he was the most positive person on the planet. And I could feel it, and I knew I had to meet him. And he turned out to be my big bird for 28 years. When I lost my big bird, you know, those kind of devastating experiences actually open your heart even more. And I took care of another friend after that happened. And when she passed, my heart even opened greater feeling for love. And I have so much compassion towards humanity. Recently, I had a really devastating experience, and that too expanded my heart. So my mission is unconditional love for the planet, and it is evolving towards that. And this tribe is helping in that. The thoughts behind it are just why I'm here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Terry. That is so beautiful. I totally can feel your heart and your unconditional love. We all are feeling it. See the hearts and the gratitude coming up, and for that mission. And it's true how if you use these circumstances that are heart-wrenching to actually have them break your heart open instead of break apart, more and more love can come through. There's so much love behind it all. Nothing can ever get broken. It can just get broken open for more love. And it's a process that is not for the faint at heart. And thank you so much for sharing your love with the world and with us.
Yes, to heal the planet. Thank
Aloha.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, to heal the time. Yeah. There were some questions about hardships. Is there still no audio? Can you hear me? Okay, it's good now. Okay, good. Thank you. Good. There are some questions about hardships. You know, what do you do with real hardships, and how do you use these tools for hardships? Yeah. And some of them were just shared, and how we can open our hearts that way. Beautiful. And now these are powerful beings like Marianne. She's a master student, and she is a master in her work. You know, she really absolutely helps the planet in her vibration. And so is Terry, so is Davina, so is Dave, so is everyone here, so is Sandy, you know, so is Priya, so is Terry Ann, so is Jen. You know, everybody who's here, hear your name mentioned right now as I'm, you know, mentioning it in my mind, because I'm typing these messages to you personally in the morning before this call. I'm texting you, and I'm looking at every name, and in my meditation I'm sending energy to every single person there. So you mean something to me, you mean something to this tribe, and you mean something to the world, and we are just the representatives of the divine here in human form to help you feel how much you mean to the world, because we all need to feel it. And that's the missing link, I feel. I often felt like, you know, I'm not feeling my angels or God when I'm feeling miserable and when I'm feeling down and I think nothing matters. It's hard to feel that. That's when you really need to feel a hand, you know, a human hand, or you need to hear some words. They can mean the world. And what you really want to hear and what you really need to hear is, you need to hear you matter. What you do matters. And all of us who are here, what matters most to us is how much we serve, how much we help. Would you agree? Give me a thumbs up if you're all about service. Yes, 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 yes. Because we know this lifetime isn't just for us. It would be wasted if it was for us. We could have had fun experiences, sure, or difficult ones, all good. But there needs to be meaning. And the meaning is in your divine gift being activated and coming through you. Now, in order to bring these gifts through, you need practical tools. You need literal tools to actually bring this through, right? You can't just wish for it or say, I am it, and then you're sitting around doing nothing or doing your, continuing your work. You know, that's not, but it's also not going to work by changing everything and saying, I'm going to do everything different. You noticed? Yeah? If you've tried that, that didn't work. Where it really is coming in is where the bridge realm to the earthly realm, where they come together on that bridge between my fingers here, yeah? And where they're coming together, that's where the magic lies. Because when you're bringing your heavenly gifts and the energies from above, plus the support from above, into your life, this expands, and it can be a reflection of all of that. It can become the reflection of your divine gift and the divinity in this earthly reality for planet Earth, right? And that's why I received those tools from Living Your Highest and Best. And here I'm going to share with you how I received them. That's going to be my last story. So the way this works, how I received these tools is, I was sitting in my meditation room, and I'm now about 32 years old. I'm living alone in Germany, and I started to discover meditation when I was about 26. It is, I'm 32 years old, I don't remember the year, and I'm sitting in my meditation place. And I have this meditation place created a hexagon out of all these little crystals that are protection crystals. And I'm sitting in this hexagon, which is a really powerful way to meditate, by the way, in a hexagon made out of turquoise or any kind of protection crystals. And I'm sitting there and closing my eyes, and all of a sudden I feel this presence in the room. And every time I was sitting in my circle, I did feel different entities, different energies coming in. But today it was the most powerful one. So I'm feeling into this. I'm seeing this really, really bright light. And I feel immediately who that is. It's Jesus Christ. And he holds out his hand, and I take the hand, and he takes me. And I'm exiting my body. My body was sitting in meditation. I'm going with my light body with Jesus, and he takes me into a place where he shares with me healing, how I need to heal, what I need to do to help people heal. And I'm like, wow, it changed my life forever. That is like the biggest, opening for me. And from then on, I would always go directly from my meditation place into the teaching chambers where I received all the information. I received everything from above. I have not read anything. All the things I'm sharing with you, they're coming directly from these realms. And so I received the 3-heart meditation, which turns out to be the most powerful tool for everybody when they're starting on the 3-heart meditation. Although it's so simple, it changes everything, because it really changes how the energy flows and how you operate in the world. And then I received step by step, the protection shield. I received all the ways of how you recharge your energy body. I received how to protect yourself in different ways, how to ask, what are the specifics about asking the higher realms? Who do you ask and when? All of that I've been just taught. In fact, I would have certain times like Easter where I would take 4 days of a seminar up in the higher realms. And I would ask them about the times when I should show up and how I should meditate and I got a whole schedule. For Easter, for example, Easter's in Germany starts on Thursday and goes all the way to Monday. And so from Friday on, it's holy days. No shops are open, nobody's out. You kind of, maybe you're out, but you're out in reverence about it. So I would go into this beautiful meditation retreat with the higher realms, with all the guides, including Jesus and other guides who came and angels. And they would tell me, you go to bed at 10, you gotta be in bed at 10, because then we're taking you in the subconscious way, giving you instructions, downloads, and initiations, which is now what I'm teaching in my courses, in the master courses. I'm taking people there and they're getting these downloads and upgrades, in their system. At the time, I wasn't ready yet to receive that consciously. My energy was too low, so I had to be sleeping. And then the time you get up at this and this time, like at 4 o'clock, you're up, and then you're meditating for 4 hours, and then you take a break an hour, and then you meditate another 3, and then you have this long of a break. And so I had this whole schedule, which I followed. And if you know me, it's hard for me to follow times. So it was hard to do that, but I did. And I got all these teachings. And so I downloaded them, brought them down, and simplified them over time as I'm teaching them to people to see how I can best transmit that. And that is how Living Your Highest and Best was born. And it's to this day, whenever anybody starts working with higher energies or invisible energies, the invisible realm, entities, light beings, I always ask them to go to that course, because this is the bridge. When you know how to be protected, then you can travel far and wide. If you don't know how to be protected, lots of things can happen that you don't want to happen. The same if you run out of energy, then you can't radiate energy into the world, then you're taking things on and you might not take on what you should take on, right? There are many examples of why that's important, but the biggest one is really, if we're working in a field where we cannot see, where we cannot use our visible eyes, we have to have a guidance system that guides us in the right direction, and that is that. But it also enables us. So it guides us, but it enables us. And the enabling factor is just like a guide that you're taking to the Himalayas. They show you where to go, but they also enable you to get there, because they carry your baggage, for example. They tell you what not to do, where not to step, how to walk, what shoes to wear and all of that. And if you do it wrong, they hold you, they actually pick you up, or, So that's what you're getting when you're working in this way, if you're using the tools correctly, okay? And then you're free. You get to explore. You get to feel what is your calling. You get to listen to the guides, And then of course, if you want to work with me, if you want to continue, then you can do a master training where we'll take you directly there. But I wanted you to know where this Living Your Highest and Best course was coming from. I really want to encourage everyone who's here today to, if you have taken the course already, to take it again. And if you haven't done so, please get it now. You get it at a super big discount, and it's worth it. So any questions until here? Because from there, I want to share with you real quick where we're going now. We're going to take this whole Lemurian tribe to another level. These 6 months now that are coming are going to be months where you can get certified and using the buddy system, so that you can also support each other in very specific ways. And every time you reach a certain level, you get a badge. And when you have 4 badges, you get the certificate. And what happens from there is, we want you guys, because you are light workers, you're all light workers, and I want to support you. And all the higher light beings want to support you. They say, this is important work here. You're bringing the Lemurian energies up, and you're connecting the highest divine purpose for people so that they can live it. And you're giving them battery, wisdom, and support. So battery is the recharge, yeah, wisdom and support. And so we want you to now be able to use that also. Instead of just having a membership, we want you to be able to use it as a value. You can put it on your website. You're certified with crystal healing, Ariya Lorenz. You know, you're certified light worker. You can share that with others. Also have some steps that you're taking, and at each step is a reward so that you stay more on track. And lastly, in order to stay more on track and to make it to the reward, you have your buddy system that helps you be accountable, encourage you, support you. Okay? Do you have questions before I go a little bit more into this? And thank you. I've seen your responses here. I love that. Any questions? I'll look in the chat. Okay, no questions, just hearts. Okay. So here's how it's going to look like. Everybody who doesn't have a buddy, I want to highly encourage you getting one. Excuse me. For two reasons. One, to overcome the tendency to isolate, the tendency to feel insignificant, and to allow the ego to build a barrier between you and another human being that you know is supportive for you. Yeah? So that's one reason. And the other reason is to show up, to have a platform where you can show up in your light, where you can speak from your light, where you can practice more on a regular basis to be heard, seen, and express from your light. Yeah. Another part is, of course, the accountability. Yeah. But if you have a buddy, then you probably shared your mission with them and you shared the first gratitude calls. So please give me a poll here. Let me know if you already connected with your buddy and if you've done your first call. So the person who has done their first call already, please say yes. And the one who doesn't, say no. If you don't have a buddy, don't say anything. Okay. It's still moving. So right now it's 38% are yes and 62 are no. So more have not started their first call. Brandy is on board to support you. And I can bring you on stage real quick. People can see you if you would. So Brandy is your support for the body system. And we're gonna send out clear instructions, but I'd like for you to do. So start your first call, we're sharing your mission. My mission is to help people to connect to their true essence, to who they really are, and then to live their lives informed by that, yeah? And so you can share your mission, and then you can also go from there and do gratitude. That's my recommendation. I'm grateful for this group. I'm grateful that you're here live. I'm grateful that people show up live and that they dare to talk, because I need that feedback. I need that movement for me to feel you better, so I can actually support you better, because I'm a reflector and reflectors need that. Yeah. And therefore I can help you better. So I'm grateful for that. And you can share gratitude in whichever way you want on the first call. And then we're going to go start on the certification. And this month will be about the tools in practical spirituality. So how you use them, how they work for you, and of course that you use them. Yeah. So you're using the tools in the practical spirituality course, you get to share about them with each other, and then you'll get some quizzes, some questionnaires, some tasks, so that they become real for you. Yeah, that they become really real for you, and you actually just rock it because of it. And then we're going to continue. We're going to have each month. Let me get the paper real quick. I'll share with you. It's pretty awesome what we have downloaded. So the first one will be about these tools, and then we're going into manifestation. Many of you have done a lot of manifestation already, so I'm assuming you're going to rip through that. But you get to choose certain things that you want to manifest for yourself or for others, yeah? And then we're going to really go into manifestation, because as a light worker, manifestation is very important. You want to manifest heaven on earth. You want to you want to manifest a good conversation just even in your own living room, yeah? You agree with me? Yeah, let me see your responses. Okay, then the next one will be transmitting Lemurian light and love. So we're going to go directly into the Lemurian parts of the light and love, and which is what we've also done, but we're going to be really specific so that you know, okay, I've done this and this and this, and this is how I do it. And then you get your badge so you can like really use it and show it to the world, you know? And it's optional. All of that is optional. You can just be listening to the calls as you've done so far. It's totally fine. I'm just offering that. Yeah. When we do that, when we go into these Lemurian codes, we will also specifically upload seals for you. It's a little bit like Reiki seals. Yeah. So you're getting a Lemurian codage that you can use for your light to share. So get it right. We've done living your highest and best basics. Then we went into how to manifest from there. Now you have those tools down. Now we're going into your unique light codes that are coming from your Lemurian roots, and we're activating them so that when you start doing energy work and sending energy, you are using those. Yeah? So that's already part of a healer training. There's a master healer training that people can take here with crystal healing, and this is a step in that you get to have in the Lemurian tribe, just as part of the tribe, without any extra cost. And then from there, we will go, the next module will be practical ways of how you share that light. So you can share that light in items, for example, candles or tinctures, you know, and bring that unique essence in your music, or you can share it in chimes, you know, you can energize the air. So you can energize the elements with that, crystals, including physical bodies, and can transmit that energy. Yeah, but you need that you're bringing in. Isn't that a beautiful thing to do? So that's going to be a real practical module. And then after that, the fourth one, and when you're done with the fourth one, you get the big certificate. Then the fourth one is advanced knowledge of the Lemurian codes, and you will end up taking on a project that's of interest to you, where you're helping in the world. So let's say you want to help with COVID in India, and you take that on, and we're going to download for you directly how you are supposed to support this situation. Or you want to bring more peace into the Middle East, or help some people there that are suffering right now in the Middle East. Or you want to energize your garden and start growing food like they do in Findhorn. Yeah. So you will take on a project that's important to you, with your kids, with your animals, with your school, with your work, wherever it's important for you or in the world. That project you take on, and you'll apply the tools, and there you get extra guidance. Yeah. You'll get guidance from the master students, and then you get your certificate. And then you're an official light worker under the aegis of crystal healing. How do you like that? Give me a little bit of feedback, please, if you would. Either in the chat or raise your hand, and that'll conclude our session today. Just hearing a little bit feedback about that. So we're on target together as a group. So, okay. Sandy says, sounds awesome. Yes, dear, it's time to do so. Loved what you said about Jesus, lead to the last amazing days of my life. Oh, thank you. Have to integrate what was synchronized for me again. Looking forward to the codes. Beautiful, Pia. Terry's asking how to connect to her body. Please, Brandy will answer that. Brandy, you're going to contact Terry. I'll give you her WhatsApp. Terry is saying, I'm so excited. If I have a buddy, I missed the message and I really want a buddy, as you know, Ariya. I missed a couple of live sessions, but I'm all in. That's awesome. Beautiful. I don't have a buddy. Brandy, I'm waiting. So what about Jen and Terry? Are you, Jen, if you are 100% committed, say yes in the chat right now, because Terry, it deserves some powerful energy, and her last buddy was difficult for her because she couldn't connect with them. I don't want that experience for her again. So everybody, if you are a buddy, make sure you're 100% showing up with your buddy, because we don't want to create, and I think Jen will, because, and it'll be wonderful to have Jen as partner, Terry, by the way. She's a light and a delight. But if you are a buddy, remember, we all have this human trait of abandonment and fear of abandonment, and it shows up especially in the beginning of a relationship. And these relationships are kind of man-made, so that fear is big. Up for each other. Make sure you say, this is important. It's just a 5-minute gratitude call. I'll be there. Okay? If you don't have more time, 5-minute gratitude, that's it. Okay? Then what else is there? Yes, Sandy's saying yes. Dave loves it. Bravissimo is saying, sounds amazing, going deeper into our soul missions and shining our lights. Yes, this is going to be incredible. So much so, Davina. Thank you. Jeannie is saying, how do I contact a buddy? This is Jeannie, okay. Oh, COVID in India, it is. So Sandy's doing COVID in India. We'll pray for India. Okay, it looks like I did not say yes in the chat. So let's get Terry and Jeannie connected. So Terry and Jeannie, you guys are now buddies, okay? And Jen will talk, you and I, how that can best support you, okay? I want you to be supported in that too. Good, okay. So I'm hearing some good feedback. Others aren't sharing much. Please let me know in a WhatsApp a little bit, or in an email. Give me your feedback. Ideas are recommended. And I would love it if you have a part to share, if you have ideas of how this can all be implemented. Creative ideas for practical ways of how this can be implemented in the tribe will be helpful. Like if you want to take on a part of it, reaching out to people, you're welcome to do that too. All and everything is welcome, okay? I love you guys. Let's just take a few moments and breathe into this energy. Remember all the stories you've heard and felt today. Feel into this beautiful Lemurian tribe energy that we have with each other. Davina, if you can, try to come on stage. I would love to invite Davina to do our ending session today. And as she's on stage,
Hello.
just go in gratitude about all the sharings, the people who dare to show up and share your story, in gratitude about your story that you may have shared or not, but it's an important part of your life. And just remembering how beautiful it is to have each other. Now Davina is here. Davina, feel free to take over, give us a ending blessing.
Sending you so much love and light, and bless your guides and your spirit guides and higher selves to
Feel her energy, the words aren't coming through, but feel her energy.
energy and
Connection is a bit unstable. Maybe turn off your video.
okay.
It's fine, we're feeling you. Beautiful soul. Now just go with me, everyone, into the Lemurian energy of gratitude and light. Breathe down into your roots a few times, in and out of your roots. I'm thanking everyone for showing up and daring to show up. Also in the lounge, we'll meet in the lounge later. And as you're bringing your roots down into the heart of the planet, you're breathing in from the heart of the planet, fresh light force energy, calling on the Lemurian guides. Fill every being that's listening to my voice up with the Lemurian light. So hold your hands in prayer position. Feel the right and left hemisphere coming together. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Think of one thing you're grateful for right now. And think of the area you want to support with your mission. Choose one area, like the Middle East, your family, your plants, the world, the galaxies, how big or small it may be. Think one area. And then breathe in, scoop the energy from your heart, and breathe out. One more time, Om with me. One more time. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We share our light with the world, and it may spread and help planet Earth to come to a high vibration of unity and love and acceptance for all beings. And so it is.